What?
When are you figuring the 100th one?
When is the 100th one? Like
This is
3?
96 of the last one.
This is
Wow.
97. So 3 weeks from now.
Is that going to be October then?
Yeah.
Cool.
You ready?
Right.
5, 4, 3.
Hey everybody out there in comic land.
Hey.
It's Casey,
And Morgan.
as usual, because it's Wednesday and there's comics and they still smell pretty good. The lenticular ones, those shiny DC things, they smell a little funny. Kind of plasticky.
Too many preservatives.
Way
in
too
those,
many preservatives.
But while DC continues to roll on with their 3D covers for the Future's End crossover month, we have a variety of other things from other publishers that aren't DC, crazy enough. First of all, one of 3 oversized graphic novels this week. This one from Titan Comics. This is the first volume of ELRIC. This is the Ruby Throne by a whole team of European comics masters, I would say.
We've never heard of.
Yeah, I have no idea who any of them are. Their names are incredibly hard to pronounce, but I'm going to go ahead and make
you're going to butcher it? Alright, man, alright.
It's written by Julien Blondel, with art and colors by Didier Poli, Robin Recht, and Jean Bastide.
That's pretty good.
I don't know. I don't know. But it takes all the pageantry, the decadence of the ELRIC saga, and really renders it in a way that hasn't been done since, like, you know, who was it? P. Craig Russell that did all those old ones?
P. Craig Russell did stuff, yeah, back in the day. But yeah, like we were talking before, the French, they just don't do bad color on their comics. It's just, the atmosphere is really nice, and
Beautiful
Michael
watercolor
Moorcock's Albino King here has never looked so good, so very, very cool. It's cheap, it's like $13, which is cheap. That's what I'm saying.
Something like that?
Yeah, $13. And we have from comics, I guess you could call comics legend.
Easily.
Very much comics
Easily
legend. Mr. George Perez, the madman who feels the need to draw like 80,000 characters on one page because he's friggin' crazy, is writing, drawing, creating, inking, all of that. His new book from Boom, Sirens, #1.
It's a
kind of
bi-monthly 6-issue miniseries.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. Mythical, fantasy, sci-fi, got a little bit of Western action going on here. But it's an all-girl team, hence the name Sirens. All very badass, almost all have guns.
And strangely enough, none of them remember who they are.
And dragons!
Yeah.
Dragons.
Dragons, also. We have a big return from Image here. This is the 7th issue of Rick Remender and Wes Craig and Lee Lowridge, because he can't forget the colorist here. With the kind of work that they're putting out. Deadly Class, #7. Finally returned after the first story arc, which has been collected nicely in the $10 Image trade format. But this brings the story of Marcus and the rest of the Assassin's kids, you know, to the next spot on the train that is the 80s.
Right? Going from 1987 to 1988. God knows if they're going to survive another year, but we'll see. We have a lot more stuff, but we're going to pause for a minute, and we're going to send you over to the man who's become official Marvel Avengers spokesperson for the week. He's been more so than normal.
Until I want to be it again.
Yeah, until he wants to be it again. But there's just a lot of Avengers stuff, and Mr. will keep you up to date on that. So, over to him.
Hey there, and I'm really showing my age here, but I remember this is an awesome X-Men cover bit that never goes out of style. I remember when Kitty Pryde was the one in the center here way back in the 80s. I was a tiny amoeba. Anyway, all new X-Men this week. It's a big crossover with the Ultimate Universe. This New Mutant, their powers go off, and all of a sudden all the young X-Men of all new X-Men, the original X-Men you might say, are split up and centered throughout all these different dimensions, including Jean Grey is in the Ultimate Universe, and she may be stuck there, but luckily there's Miles Morales to show her around, so really cool cosmic fun as they get all these some really weird places. I'm really curious to see where Mr. Bendis takes this. In 8 months, time runs out. The latest Avengers, this is a big issue, a lot of all-star artists, and this really kind of takes things from the very beginning of the first Avengers when Jonathan Hickman took over at the conspiracies, the incursions, the Illuminati, the ex nihilos, or if I didn't say that right, remember those weird gold aliens who had deer antlers, you know? All that is in here, all the new Avengers they've brought in, like Cannonball and Sunspot, and and Night Mask and the new Star Brand. It all comes together, and this jumps into a possible Marvel future in which the Avengers have declared war on the members of the new Avengers for what they were going to do, and it's just a crazy, weird kind of Avengers Ghost of Christmas future, if you will, and it's really freaky. And this sets the stage for the final arc, the final endgame of what Jonathan Hickman's been doing in Avengers and New Avengers. You just can't get enough Avengers this week. So Uncanny Avengers, the march to Axis continues. Next month, it's the big throwdown, Avengers and X-Men versus the Red Skull, who now has the power of Professor X's brain. I just broke out into opera there as I'm talking about it because it's that dramatic. This is kind of one of the final steps. I mean, it's kind of interesting. I mean, there's all been this big build-up in Magneto and Captain America and now the Uncanny Avengers, and it's building to the main event when they throw down against the Red Skull. A lot going on with Havoc and the repercussions of their war with Kang and Scarlet Witch and Rogue and how they're going to factor into the Red Skull's plan. Really just creepy, and some really creepy nightmare things that are happening that Red Skull is using his powers with. And finally, DC, you know, this is Future's End month, and they're all peering 5 years into the future. This is a rematch with Bruce Wayne and the Heretic. If you remember from Batman Incorporated, the Heretic is the one who killed Damian Wayne. Incredible, hard, brutal rematch here. Plus, there is a new Robin. There's just, I'm not spoiling anything. They've been teasing everything forever. Who's going to be the new Robin? And they throw a wild card into the mix in this one as to who the possible new Robin may be. He looks really cool in this. Did I just say he? I think I just... Anyway. So another big contender in the Robin War as Robin rises. Batman and Robin, Future's End this week. Back to you guys.
Thank you, as always, Mr. Will. Hopefully we can goad him into a little bit more opera next time. No promises, though. New from Archaia in single issue form, Jim Henson's Storyteller, Witches, drawn by, written and drawn by another name that VIDAURRI? VIDAURRI. S.M. VIDAURRI, whatever. He did Iron of the War After for Archaia about a year ago, which was kind of a war tale that featured cute and not so cute animals. And this one is when a young princess's brother is kidnapped by a witch. She must use all of her wits and prowess to go into the forest and confront the armor-clad spirit of the forest to find her brother. So yeah, the art is really, really nice. It's very storybook if you're big into children's fantasy or really nice, just kind of painted stuff. There's not many panels in here. It's much more of like kind of an overall aesthetic of just big pages, and it's really pretty nice. You know, definitely if you're looking for something a little more offbeat, a little more maybe a little classy.
Yeah, the way they weave the text into the images with the watercolors it's all really nice.
It's definitely fancy.
It's going to be a series of 4 one-shots from Archaia. And hopefully you haven't gotten too much Marvel stuff, but this is still sort of in the fantasy vein right here. This is the 25th and final issue of Jason Aaron's Thor, God of Thunder, before the launch of the hugely hyped female Thor in October.
Which is not Thor as a woman, but another person.
As Thor.
As Thor.
I didn't know was a thing that worked, but I mean, yeah.
Thor Girl doesn't work, so what are you gonna do?
This sees actually, not just on the cover, but on interiors as well, drawing a story of young Thor, Simon Bisley. Yeah, the Simon Bisley.
Like, my neck is this big and my arm is this thick? Yeah.
And my axe is this big.
Yeah.
He's joining Assad Ribic and actually R.M. Guerra of Scalped to do 3 tales of the 3 Thors, once again, just to cap off that theme for this series. And, you know, it's pretty much everything we expect from it.
Yeah. And out this week from a Pantheon, the final book in the Tintin on Acid saga, because I don't really know what else to call it. It started in X'd Out and continued in the Hive. Charles Burns has returned 2 years later with Sugar Skull. Look at this creepy back cover. If that doesn't really sum up the entirety of what this book is about, I don't know what does. But yeah, it's Charles Burns. It's in color. It's weird and bizarre and unsettling.
And you will not feel right after reading
No.
it for at least a week.
At least a week.
And if you read the other two first, then ooh.
If you read them all at once, you might turn out like the Video Monkey. I mean, he reads way too much Charles Burns. And Charles Burns will also be at the Fantagraphics bookstore signing at 7 o'clock on Friday, for those of you who get off work on time.
And also concluding this week, a favorite of mine, this is The Field by Ed Brisson and Simon Roy. Sort of what started off as a rural crime story and kind of became a sci-fi time travel story out of friggin' nowhere.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just a lot. It's a whole lot, but it's all rendered amazingly by Simon Roy. He's bringing his top game to this book, and just really showing what happens when a lot of strange people who have no idea why they're here come together and just start beating each other up in a field.
And speaking of someone who always brings her top game, we're going to throw it over to Fanta Warehouse slave Anna, who is here once again with some new books from Image.
Yeah, like maybe another person.
Maybe.
No.
It's gonna start off with a lot of Image heavy hitters this week. We got The Wicked and the Divine, number 4. Lucifer doesn't like being told what to do. I don't think that's a shock to anyone. But these reincarnated gods and celestial beings are trying to break him, it's a little ambiguous, out of jail, and they might just succeed. This past weekend, Kanye West tried to get a fan who is wheelchair bound out of his wheelchair to walk again. I don't think he could do it, but I think the people in this comic, these rock stars, probably could. Up next on the Warren Ellis, we got Supreme Blue Rose. If you're familiar with Supreme, the Rob Liefeld Supreme, this might seem a little different from what you're used to, but it's no less good. If they take a page out of Prophet's book where they reinvigorate old stories, old characters, but create a world-altering landscape that you've never seen before. I don't really know how to describe this book other than all of Warren Ellis's crazy metaphysical stuff tied into a detective mystery and a power struggle between a rich guy who is probably out for more power. Got another Ellis book, Trees. Trees. So that was a bad joke. I don't apologize for my bad jokes though. Keep me stronger. This is Warren Ellis on a sci-fi kick. I like Warren Ellis on a sci-fi kick because he always pulls in the political drama too, and if there's anything I like more than comics, it's political intrigue. And this is all wrapped into one with aliens and Russians. How poignant. I'm pretty sure Putin might be an alien. And to finish it off for this week, we got the Live After number 3 from Joshua Hale, Falkov, and Gabo. Jude is stuck in purgatory and is forced to, and everyone else who's stuck in purgatory is forced to relive their suicides day after day. Jude realizes that something is amiss, and his spirit guide, Ernest Hemingway, is trying to lead them to the other side. It might be a little more complicated though when we realize who Jude's dad is. I'll let you read this amazing issue and figure out for yourself. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Anna. And continuing on here, from my favorite new publisher, the third book they have put out, Magnetic Press here. This is Mecha by J.D. Morvan and the amazing Bengal. They recently we got Nausea, which they did as well, and another book called Zaya, which J.D. Morvan wrote and put out. But this is, I mean, if you're really looking for some more like Bubblegum Crisis, Ghost in the Shell, standalone sequence type of stuff, this is what's up. We were talking about French artists being really good at color. Bengal just kills it. This is absolutely amazing. 2 cops, one kind of symbiotic mech warrior thing, and what happens when you have to survive merely on your own, you know, human resources in a world of high technology. And it's, you know, interplanetary war. It's $20, it's cheap, it's friggin' gorgeous. It's got these nice rounded covers, which they do, or corners, which are really cool. But Bengal has slowly been getting work in America, and soon you will be seeing his work on covers for both Marvel and DC. So check his stuff out before he becomes super popular.
Yeah, and who doesn't love emotionally damaged teenagers inside giant robots?
Did you not all watch Ava? Like, really?
Speaking of emotionally damaged teenagers,
oh,
it's that time. Speaking of internet hype machines, we have got Edge of Spider-Verse number 2,
Number 2.
featuring Spider-Gwen. I mean, Gwen Stacy Spider-Woman. Who cares?
Spider-Gwen.
She's Spider-Gwen.
Spider-Gwen.
This is brought to you by the team of Jason Latour, one half of Team Southern Bastards, and Robbie Rodriguez, one half of Team Federal Bureau of Physics. And together they've created just this little nice alternate universe nestled inside the entire Spider-Verse, where Gwen Stacy, in fact, did not die, but was bitten by a spider instead of Peter Parker, and became Spider-Woman. Crazy, huh?
And she plays in a band?
Yeah, she's in a band. She's the awesome female drummer in this band. She punches things in the face, and, you know, just does generally spidery stuff.
Yeah.
This totally blew up on the internet. You're gonna want like 15 copies, and we're gonna have like 15 copies for you.
That's right.
Just for you, though, not that guy over there.
You. And finally this week, we're gonna wrap it up with some insanity in a different way from Mr. Grant Morrison and Chris Sprouse and colorist Dave McCaig, who's amazing. This is Multiversity Part 2, The Society of Superheroes, featuring Dr. Fate and the Blackhawks. Yeah. So the first one was absolutely fantastic. This is really seeing a return to form for Grant Morrison, doing a kind of Seven Soldiers-y type of thing where there's 2 bookends and a bunch of one-shots in the middle. I'm not quite sure what Earth this takes place on. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's the pulp Earth. Oh, dude, that is a Demon Sentinel Green Lantern dude.
Yep.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first part was really awesome. Morrison has just been really delving into the very confusing new, trenches of the New 52 here, which, even if you had an abacus, you couldn't really figure that crap out.
It really brings that feeling of genuineness that Grant Morrison takes with a lot of his superhero work. Not all of it, but the ones that have it just really shine like this.
It's got Vandal Savage as the main bad guy, and if you don't know, Vandal Savage is so badass that he has children just so he can harvest their organs so he can live longer.
Casey, I don't think that's badass, I think that's just evil.
That's fucking awesome. Oh, I can't say that, but whatever. It's awesome. Anyway, we're going to end now before I'm judged too harshly by more.
It's already happened.
It's already happened.
Years ago.
Alright, well, that's all we got this week. Judge away. We'll see you next week.